Divorce 4 months ago. Meghan dumped Harry out of the talent agency and blamed him for the podcast failure, WME confirms. The recent quotes from the huge talent agency seem to be throwing Prince Harry under the bus and backing it up and do it all over again and blaming him for everything that's wrong with the brand. A source close to WME staff reveals that Meghan forced her agency to dump Harry out of the company because she doesn't need Harry or his toxic mess. It means there's a divorce 4 months ago and him no longer doing anything is public. How can Harry be at fault for a podcast though? He may have had a bad conversation with Bill Simmons on podcast ideas, but the actual Archetypes podcast is all Meghan and nothing to do with him. So how is he a toxic mess there? Anyway, she's doing conscious uncoupling with Harry, but it's a tough way for Meghan as she really affords to leave Harry. Does she really think she's now earned a value on her own without Harry in the royal family? Experts said that she'll even be nastier during the divorce. Honestly, she's probably just banging everyone and they're passing her around. She thinks she made it, but WME guys will just use her and throw her away when they're all done with her. Lady C explained some time ago that according to the rules, if Meghan so chooses, she could divorce and keep the Duchess of Sussex title until she marries again with someone else. If she doesn't marry again, she can keep the title for life. If Harry had any sense at all, he'd relinquish the Duke of Sussex title if they're divorcing. It would stop her being able to use the courtesy title Duchess of Sussex, as she only has it through his title. Otherwise, she forever has an association with him through the title, and forever her PR will affect his PR, and she'll be able to trade off the title. She'll use it to boost her status, which she'll then use to constantly criticise and blame him for everything wrong with her life. He's better off to cut off her source of status. He may not want to lose his title, but the decision might be a bit like cutting off your gangrenous arm in order to stay alive. If the UK government or Charles removes the title, it will play into her victimhood. But if Harry relinquishes it, there's nothing she can do about it. He could even play her at her own game and claim publicly that it was a joint decision. The problem is she can use the divorce settlement to launch a new attack on the royal family, or to start her political ambitious plan and gain access to places where she can find a rich guy to marry and use his money for a few years, torturing the world with horrible PR. If you recall, at some point Meghan requested a private meeting alone with Charles at the funeral. It's quite possible she was going to pitch the exact scenario you described to Charles as a way to get a big infusion of cash. I've suspected this since I heard about a request for a private meeting with Charles. There are only a few reasons she'd want to meet with Charles without Harry present. If Charles has a soft spot, it's for Harry, and Meghan has zero leverage because she's lost all credibility. The British royal family have been onto her manipulations from the get-go, and that's why they attempted many times to talk Harry out of marrying her. Possibly he'd take Harry back. King Charles is completely done with Meghan.